Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here, this time reviewing on Ice Age The Meltdown. Now as you know, Ice Age The Meltdown is a 2006 animated film which was meant to be a sequel to the 2002 film Ice Age, as well as being the second installment in the Ice Age film series. Now, I remember as a kid, one of my siblings having the sort of DVD. I remember only watching bits and pieces. So after getting a copy of this about 1 or 2 years ago, finally decided to sit down and watch it. And the best I can say is that it's a good sequel that's average at best. So the premise of the film is meant to follow Maddie, Sid, and Diego living in a valley surrounded by high ice, and we see how they eventually discover that it's actually a dam holding a large amount of water that could flood the valley. And we see that, if it happens, all of the animals, including themselves, will end up getting flooded. So we see how, they're basically told that there is a boat on the other end of the valley that can save them. And we see how everyone journeys it out to kind of get to the other side before the flood happens. And I think not only does the film tackle the themes of global warming, natural disasters, and trying to get to a safe area before any necessary problems kick in, but it also deals with the fact of, being the sort of last species alive, as well as dealing with the fact that your bloodline could end. And we see how Manny kind of slowly learns the hard way that he might be the last mammoth alive. And we see how, Manny ends up meeting Ellie, another woolly mammoth, who thinks she's a possum, and her two adopted siblings, Crash and Eddie. And I think Ellie's not a bad character. She's a little deluded. You can tell that she thinks she's a possum. And we do see how Maddie does everything he can to get her to see reason, to little to no avail. And I think the film really does show you that there's no real villain. It kind of shows how, everyone's trying to survive a natural disaster. We see how predators have to eat to stay alive. We kind of see how people have to do questionable and shady things to kind of make a quick buck. But really, there is no real villain. And I think the film also kind of reminds you of those old cheesy 90s films, like Volcano, Armageddon, also any of the other old 90s and 2000s films, like Day After Tomorrow. You could tell there was a lot more thought showing what could happen if you aren't careful of potential natural disasters and anything that could go wrong. And I think the film has moments where it can take itself seriously, like Ellie slowly learning that she isn't a possum. You kind of see how Maddie has to learn that he might be the last of his species. And we do kind of see how, it's kind of got moments, I think, as well, where there's moments that felt unnecessary. Like a cult kind of worshipping Sid. We kind of see Sid in the same role before, being a bit of a punch bag. And this sort of saber-toothed squirrel scrap sort of trying to get his nut, but kind of being a bit of a punch bag. I think the rest of the film isn't too bad. It really tries to tackle the themes of natural disasters, trying to stay alive, trying to survive them all, and trying to kind of learn that if you really are the last of your bloodline, or basically trying to stay alive from natural disasters. So I think this film definitely deserves a thumbs up. It's not bad, not great, but still enjoyable. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.